The Amber Falls found a strong trade wind to carry them across the void back to the Isle of Nahraq. The young Princess Violet is curious about every aspect of the ship and void travel. She has kept Captain Harris quite busy as he's escorted her above and below decks, explaining everything from what riggers do in the lines to why cargo is stored in a way to keep the ship balanced. In the meantime, the rest of the crew has been on their best behavior. Meaning, of course, that they try not to curse as loud in the presence of the princess. We join Thomas and Kodrog in the mess hall as they sit down for the midday meal to listen to Gaz and Cookie tell the tale of the lost treasure of Baron Swan.
Baron Swan, or as I like to call him, Baron Swoon. I saw a painting of him once. Oh, so handsome. Anyway, he was one of the most successful pirates of the Silver Age. You know, when the White Sword Confederacy and the Republic were fighting over the Silver Holds? That's over by Lycania.
He wasn't always a pirate, though. Baron Swan made a name for himself as captain of the Longstrider, a Republic of Porthian warship. He came to the position in the middle of the Silver Wars. The man was a master strategist, and during the second half of the war managed to secure an Isle's ransom of silver from White Sword Confederacy transport ships, often without a single casualty.
The White Sword started calling him Baron the Ghost. None of their warships could track him. They say he would disappear before they could even put eye to spyglass.
And I'm sure he would have been known as the greatest naval commander in the Republic had he not come across Nyota Montabu.
Ah, yeah, such a sad tale. You know, hers were the first written words of what the Republic does to the elves they catch. The stuff of nightmares, I'll tell you.
You've read it?
Nah, it was one of the bedtime stories my ma would read to us as babies when we were wee little ones.
She read you that?
Well, she'd replace the elf reference with the name of us kids. You know, what would happen to us if we misbehaved. The Republic's gonna get you if you don't stop hitting your brother. That kind of thing.
Right. Well, Baron was so sickened by the story that he decided the only action he could morally make was to defect from the Republic.
So romantic.
Captain Swan marooned the crew who would not join him on a depleted silver hold in the White Sword territory. Then he took the Longstrider into the Lycanian Nebula.
He wanted to make sure that no one could see his ship approaching until it was too late. So guess what he did? Legend has it that he painted the Longstrider black. The hull, the decks, the mast, even the sails and the rigging. He attacked Republic mines and stole back as much silver as he had earned the Republic when he was on their side. Maybe even more.
Baron Swan and the crew of the Longstrider became the scourge of the Republic. He crippled their warships and destroyed their mining operations.
Best part of all was he still went after the White Sword ships too. He was nicer about it though, not as much shooting.
Indeed. The legends say that he used the silver he stole to curry favor with Lycania, so he could have safe harbor in their nebula. It's even said that the Green offered him safe passage through their territories as well.
They just wanted to see the elf, I bet. I mean, who wouldn't want to see a real-life elf?
Baron made Nyota his first mate, and for 30 years led the crew of the Longstrider to wealth and prestige. They struck fear in the hearts of Republic sailors, and made wary any transport ship passing through his known void space.
But eventually Baron Swoon got old, like we all do. So he gave up his pirate life and retired. He gave half of his wealth to the rest of the crew, then took the rest deep within the Lycaonian Nebula and buried it in a hold somewhere inside.
Are you sure? I heard that he only kept the ship and his crew took the riches with them.
Well, if that's true, then why do they call it the lost treasure of Baron Swan? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense if it was buried to find somewhere?
I suppose. But I do know that much of the remaining crew pooled their money together and became the founders of Spindlehaven.
Everybody's favorite black market paradise.
Personally, I think the rest of Baron Swan's treasure is hidden safely on Spindlehaven.
Hey, maybe we can stop by there sometime and look for it. I could use some nice jewelry. Maybe a tiara?
Sure, I guess.
Anyway, they say that once he retired, Baron Swoon and Nadoya Matabe sailed off beyond the Prairie and lived happily ever after.
Others say he retired to Lycaonia or a hold somewhere in the nebula.
Okay, fine. Or maybe he went off to the demon lands with the elf because, demons, elves. Get it? Oh, come on. That was funny. I'm trying here.
It is funny, Cookie.
I need a cigarette.
Are we allowed to laugh at that?
I think you just broke her.
She is very much racist, sexist, just... She sells terrible words.
Baron Swoon.
Swoon.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. So...
Thankfully, that was actually the last of the story as that breaks away in strange, quiet, are we allowed to laugh at that giggles.
Excuse me while I go off to get a cigarette. Spend some alone time.
I don't know what your alone time looks like, Cookie. I don't.
So the mess hall is filled with the majority of the crew who are out and about. And the gossip ranges quite well from, oh, I can't wait till we get home, I can't wait to get paid, I can't wait till we can actually swear again. I can't wait to get to bed, I can't wait to have my alcohol. People laughing and joking. Now that the story time is over, mostly just being a little bit sociable with each other. You two have found yourself at a table with, who else would you have sat with? This is like the school cafeteria where, you sit with the popular kids or the unpopular kids or by yourself.
Not Larry.
Thomas is definitely the person to sit alone and read his books, but he would either be...
always rudes that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he would be near Kodrog and or Dimitri, because Dimitri is another person that actually got along with him. So.
Excellent. You notice that Dimitri is also reading a book.
Yes.
It's a very small book. It's, looks like it's hand-bound. And, yeah. And he holds it very close to his face.
It has the characteristics of a novella, being small in size and stature and thin. Not like a dime novel where it's so thin it's just some short story. Dude shows up town, kills bad guy, goes home. More like a small romance novel.
I have, hold on. I have this. That's it's a small pocket leather book. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, I would agree with that assumption.
I'd imagine that would be it.
And
yeah.
Does it have a title on the cover?
Does it have?
But it's not the kind of thing you can read from across the room. You'd have to get close enough or be sitting at the table to recognize it. Are you saying you're trying to stare at the back of his book to see what he's reading? How interesting.
Well, I take a seat across the table from him with my gruel, porridge, lunch stew. Who knows what it is? Thanks, Cookie.
Mystery food that I can eat.
I've got a chart that tells us if there's meat in the food.
I would imagine that Thomas is kind of already there next to or across Dimitri because he's reading too, and they're just two dudes who like reading and just don't care about the others.
I got a 14, and on the chart, if I remember correctly, it means that there is meat, but it's not identifiable.
Great, it's the rats. I swear it.
Meat.
It is meat, but it is not identifiable.
Excellent. So, the usual.
Pretty much.
The back cover of the book, do you speak human? Do you have any human languages or anything?
Oh.
I mean, it's not written in Dwarven.
So I have Dwarven and Common written.
Okay, so you gotta swap those. So you have, like, a human dialect.
Yeah. Because Common is Dwarven.
Yeah.
So you only speak Dwarven. Huh?
If you're looking for another... So, Dwarven, Takiao, and dwarves, Takiaos, and humans are the more common races. Humans have a variety of languages. Dwarves have a variety of dialects. And Takiao have worked diligently to stick to one language. And they are, when it comes to their language, very grammatically on point and no changing. A word has to become...
There's no annual... What words are we adding to the dictionary festival?
they don't do that. They have all the words. They don't get any more. They just go into bigger descriptions. So Takiao would be a good option.
I have Common, Draconic, Keshan Speak, Dwarven Red, Elven Red.
So you'll have to do that as well. Swap out your Common for just saying like a human dialect. You're from Marseille, so you speak Marseillan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which...
What's the... what's the dialect spoken by the family of Amber Falls? Humans there.
The White Sword is like a... Because they're in the White Sword, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They're kind of all over the place.
Well, you know what we should pin down? We should pin down the common human language, just so it might be used. We'll just call it human for now. Bite the bottom lip, and then come back to that.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I've gotten...
Languages are by territories. So like, Marseille speaks Marseillan. You know, the White Sword Confederacy is like Europe, where they speak several different languages all at the same time.
Okay.
So. And
like different periods of history has different main language.
Exactly.
So human is going to be like a coverall.
It's a catch-all until so.
Okay.
I want to do a list, but I also want to have a life as well, and so writing the history of a language or people's language is really complicated.
Just
I'll leave
go
it to
ask
the masters.
Tolkien.
I'll just ask Tolkien to do it for me. He's already got the skills.
Yep.
Hashtag what would Tolkien do?
Write up a full-blown history. All right. So, it looks like a romance novel. It says something about love.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that Thomas is reading something similar, but it's in Draconic?
Sure.
Because I mean, that would be something Thomas is reading.
Sure, of course.
Dragon smut.
Pretty much. It's pretty much the typical, guy is shirtless, girls up on his chest, and that. It's pretty much typically that. But Thomas keeps it in, a leather-bound journal, so you really can't see the title.
He keeps a
You really think that he's just studying his spells, but if you read it, you're like, oh, that is not a spell.
It's spellbinding romance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, you're eating. There's people about. This is you guys at this point in time. we can go as you guys want. What's the word I want to say? Begins with an R.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah.
So after shoveling some of the meat porridge
I like that word.
into his mouth and taking a big swig of the beverage provided.
Most likely is either coffee, tea, ale, or grog.
Yeah, grog. That sounds good.
Something that has to be boiled.
Yeah. Well, because grog has citrus in it, right?
It
Yep.
does.
Gotta fight that scurvy.
Yep.
Still mouth full of both of those. Well, half full of both of those because you can't really speak with a liquid in your mouth. What are you drinking or reading there, Dimitri?
Dimitri, without moving his head, casts his eyes upward from his book. So he's like,
Mm-hmm.
a book? And then his head goes, and then his eyes go back to...
A book.
Yes, a book. Dwarfs have books?
No, I've never even heard of a book before. Can you explain what that is?
Nearby, Inu sitting at his table snickers.
Yeah. So you see Dimitri close his book and sit it down. And stares at you. Chilling later.
Imagine Thomas. Thomas was just like, you guys. He's like looking back and forth, like, okay. And I'll just go to his book.
It's a novel.
Now wait a minute. You just said it was a book.
They
Books
can be
are novels. Novels are books.
both times.
It's
I understand. I'm being sarcastic with him.
yeah, that'll get you far.
That'll get some eye rolls out of Dimitri.
Yes.
Sorry, Dimitri. You just seemed like you were in a sarcastic kind of mood, so I was playing along.
Dimitri picks his book back up, stares at you, gives you a very faint smirk, and and then goes back to his reading. So maybe he was. You've noticed that Dimitri can be kind of standoffish at times, and but for the most part, when you engage him, he's always very reserved, but feistily reserved. It's a very strange dynamic, and so you're never really sure when he's being serious or not. So
Humans are strange.
humans are really weird.
Yeah, I tried. What about you, Thomas? Is that also a book?
So and
It is.
Inu, on the other hand, as you're asking that, will interrupt you. He's like, don't mind him. It's just those romance novels. They love.
Dimitri's eyes are gonna get very big. Like, revealing some sort of unacceptable secret. Like, stop, Drew.
You see Thomas just do this. He just goes.
No, go, Kodrog. Turns to Inu. What's romance?
Well, that's when a boy human and a girl human shag.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kill me now. Just kill me now.
It's when they become a long fibered rug?
Oh my god.
Behind him, you see Larry has engaged a conversation from two tables away and is making hand gestures as the snickering's passing along.
They make hand gestures that are clearly like, oh, like
Yep.
And then from across the other side of the room, everyone hears as Larry's like, they hear, Larry, you looking for something? Did you need something? And Larry puts his hands down.
No.
Larry's looking for some romance.
Oh, come on into the kitchen. I'll show you romance.
Oh God. Oh God. No.
This definitely warrants some
There's a
laughter from
Yeah.
the crew.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
What was that gruff voice you used that one time? I don't want to hear about this. What?
The low ones?
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm remembering all the voices we've done of other crew members.
I did the low one where they have to talk in a very... It was like, that was good. That was so funny.
The Russian guy, yeah.
The Russian sounding one, yeah. And
maybe next time you give more description, yeah? Looking at Inu.
oh right, yeah. I lost it for a second.
Don't worry, everything will be fine.
He'll drink
All
more
you
of
need is a little more grog. Yes? There you go.
Well, it's when the boy human and the girl human, they go off into a room by themselves.
Not anymore. It's too late now. Next time, I said. Next time. There will be next time. You'll see they're always reading those steamy books.
Dimitri, under his voice, would be like, well, at least some of us read.
Thomas will give a huge smirk and look up from his book at him, and then look back down.
More like, at least some of us know how to read.
Or at least some of us know how to read.
Oh, it's always fun in the galley.
Well, this is the break space. This is the only work done in here is by Cookie and people suckered into doing dish duty.
Yes. Dish duty.
Dish duty.
Which was most of the time Thomas, because all he has to do is just wiggle his fingers and it's done.
Yep.
People
Prestidigitation and mage hand.
people pay him in
Rations.
and rum rations and food rations to do their work for them. So
Every single time they come up and Thomas is just like, you have hands, be grateful. Like
Can't you see I'm reading?
It's one of those tones where he's just like, I don't drink rum. Why would I do your work if I don't drink? I don't know.
you must bring the wine for her. You cannot bring some stupid rum ration. You need to bring the good stuff. Stupid.
I mean, hey, at least I get extra rations.
Yeah, Bassianus can definitely keep himself toasty.
Yeah, this Bastianus has kind of started gaining some weight since you started going on.
He's been kind of on the ship a lot. I would imagine, because he's been bitten. I haven't been able to take him out on adventures.
You gotta walk him every once in a while.
Oh.
Hey now, only
say that
I
to
can
his
make
face.
He's
only
been
I
learning
can make
how
the
to-
racist jokes to my friends. Okay.
Have you taken your henchman out lately to walk him?
Cassianus, don't say that around him, alright? Why do you think I keep him around? Like, why do you think I have him with me?
Alright. So, yeah. It's definitely a very enjoyable evening. Is there any... Afternoon. Yeah, it's dinner time. Well, you guys don't know it.
It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. There's no sun.
Second meal.
It's second.
Second
No.
supper.
You all, because you're traveling through the void right now, and there's no direct time telling that you can look at a sun or shadows or sunsets. Time is kept by the sailmaster and the quartermaster. They make sure their watches are always in time. And usually it's based on what time it is in the location that they are heading to. That way, when they arrive, they'll arrive at an appropriate hour versus just on a random And so when you hear the bells, there are certain bells for different times of day. That's why you all are in here for your lunchtime, because it was the midday meal bell that happened, and that's when you get to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't get to eat on the midday bell. Some people who are on different shifts, they have a different bell that they go through. So yeah,
It's like school.
it is.
Yep. It really is. It's a highly organized school environment. Arthur keeps multiple watches in his pocket. So if you hey, what time is it back home? He could tell you. He's not going to, but he could.
Oh my god, can just once there be a scene where Thomas is like, hey Arthur, what time is it back home? And he just tells him, and he's like, okay, what time is it in Marseille? And then he just kind of gives him a look, and he goes, what time is it in the Greenlands? What time is it over there? What time is it right now? And he just does that just to mess with him.
He would say, it's time that there's a mop and a bucket in your hand.
Oh, good sir, you do realize that it's not going to be my hand that does it. And Thomas will just snap, and Mage Hand will spawn, and he's like, go on, go clean. And kick back and relax and
That's
start
right,
reading.
You could summon
Yeah.
an unseen servant to do your chores for you.
Yep.
That too. So there are probably many times on deck now where Thomas is just reading, and there's just a mop mopping itself on the deck.
I imagine some more, gosh, what's the word I want to use? The magic haters. I imagine some of the more magic haters would just attack them up, like, out of Fantasia. Bash it to pieces.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe that happened once before the quartermaster's like, you're wasting good wood.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like, if they see
You're gonna have
the
to-
mop destroyed, Thomas will just go, and my chores are done. like I
You're
can't do
welcome.
anything else without a mop, but I can't conjure a mop. It's not...
I mean, you can cast mend.
I can, which I have done before. I also have, I always say it wrong, prestidigitation?
Prestidigitate.
Thank you. I have that. And that is, I think, a level 0 or level 1 spell, which I can cast constantly. Yeah. It's level 0, so I can cast it constantly if I have it on my book. So I could just do that, and the ship would be spotless.
It would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody
And
else
then
would
some-
have things to do, and all the crew would be really happy.
Yep.
And
But Thomas doesn't do that shit. He only does that shit for himself.
Yeah, right?
He's too busy reading
Because a
books.
bored crew is a dangerous crew.
It's pretty much.
Maybe.
Thomas knows that from his books.
I mean, honestly, maybe if the crew had more leisure time, read.
Oh my god, can we have a little session where Dimitri and I are trying to teach the crew how to read?
you can take it upon your own personal time to start teaching crew members to read.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think that's where we can take this.
Okay.
All right, so while you're in the galley enjoying yourselves, reading books or eating dinner, picking fun of each other, and talking about how humans make romance, I'm going to reach out to the audience at this point in time for a name. If you could write that in
Yes.
there. We're going to be looking for a name of a crewman. He was short-lived a couple of episodes ago. He was the male crewman who passed by Thomas and did not engage in the bad speaking about Thomas being a spellcaster, and instead walked past him and greeted him as master.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that the kid, the cabin boy, or was that someone else?
No.
That was
Okay.
another sailor.
Old Greg.
Okay.
Oh, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
Always drinks his rations from the shoe.
Yeah.
So we have Alexei. That's
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Now,
for some reason, my brain translated that I into an exclamation point.
Alex. Alexei.
No.
Alex.
When-
So should
Wenson.
we do a voice for him?
What kind of voice?
Ooh, I don't
Wenson's.
know. Wenson? Oh, that's
Wenson.
an interesting one.
You could take both.
Alexei Winson.
Alexei
Ooh, I might
Wenson.
have to write this one down.
Write it down.
Oh, I'm trying to
So
find...
moted be!
So moted be! Going to the back of the book. Here we go.
There you go.
I'm writing it down. Thank you, audience, for helping name this nameless individual.
Now they're real. And now we can help them die.
Wow.
Well, all like named NPCs, they're either turned into the bad guy or they get killed by the bad guy, remember?
Yep, and he's
And that
currently
works.
wearing a red bandana.
Oh
Red
no, red shirt. Pours more.
Pours more grog. All right. So as you two are engaged in your books and laughter and whatnot, the crewman in question comes over and he will humbly move to the chair on the bench next to you and sit there. He's got his hands in his lap. He's not saying anything right yet, but he has definitely made... Because Kodrog's to one side of you, Bassianus is across the room, so the side of you is open,
Yeah, imagine-
and he's taking a seat.
I imagine Bassianus is definitely that person who has multiple rations of rum because Thomas has been getting a bunch of rum. So he's been just like, yeah, and drinking, and he's been not getting drunk because he's just that type of person. Just making
And then
rambunctious
Kodrog-
He's got a little dwarf in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He's your typical barbarian with a sweet side.
Oh,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
like kittens and puppies.
pretty much. It's pretty much like, hey, let's go get some chicks, and then later on he'll tell you the philosophy of the wind or some shit. Like, that's pretty much how it is. Like,
The breath of wind.
yep. He'll say something about how life is timeless or something like that, and Thomas has heard it all. He's also heard many rambunctious stories of his romance, so you know.
But this crew member that you know little to nothing about sits down next to you as you're reading your book. He's got no food in front of him. Out of the side of your eye, you see he's got no food, no drink, no nothing.
His hands are kind of like nervously twitching.
Thomas is just gonna turn the page and just go, if you want me to do your chores, you have to realize that it's gonna be rations or wine. And he kind of looks up from his book.
Well, what? No, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about, Master Thomas.
He'll close his book and set it down and just go, it's just Thomas? But please continue.
Yes, Thomas. Well, you see, the thing is that all of this talk about reading is making me feel quite inadequate, Master Thomas.
You would say less of a
Less
man.
of a man. Thank you.
And how do you think that you could be more than that?
Well, I was thinking that maybe you could teach me how to read.
You actually want to learn how to read.
Or else you can just read all of your stories out loud.
No, I can teach you. Sure, yeah, okay. Why not? Plus, it'll help you in your positions and better positions if you ever get promoted. So,
It's,
So
creepy.
it's-
It's creepy how her door just cracked open behind her.
you talking to Bella? What?
He stares at his
My mom's trying to get my cats out of the room because we on Saturdays we have moist food.
Ooh,
I don't know where Bella is.
Right
Hi,
there.
Duncan.
There's a dog.
That-
Oh gosh,
Hi, Duncan.
They're everywhere.
chaos.
Bye, Duncan.
I've come in
Goodbye,
here to bless
family.
you, to bless you with my presence. I'm done. Goodbye.
day. Sir.
Pretty much.
You are blessed. I leave.
You're welcome.
Pretty much. He comes in here to see me, and then he goes straight to my trash, and then he leaves.
Nope, nothing good.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Thomas just goes, I mean, yeah, I could teach you. Like, plus it'll help you with promotions in the future. It's not that hard, it's just, it's a lot of words that you gotta sound out properly.
Right.
It's like speaking, but on paper. So, reading.
Excellent. So, where do we start?
Well, not with this book. Something... something simple. And Thomas will go through, like, his books that he has, which is probably all smut and spell casting. And he'll grab the tamest, easiest smutty book that he can get, which is probably about, like, this thick. It's not that thick. He's probably had it since he was like a teen.
Like a primer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now my cat wants out. My mom comes in here yelling for like, "Hey, you can get food," and now she's at my door.
Kitties, kisties, we have moist food.
I'll be right back.
Come and get it.
Go for it. Meanwhile, he takes the small booklet and looks through it. I don't.
Maybe even upside down. He turns.
Yeah,
he's like
turns
trying to figure out which end is the upside.
I don't understand. And Thomas just walked away. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Well, you see here, Alexei. The proper way to hold the book is thusly.
Ah, right.
And then you would start on this page, as it is the first.
Yeah, because he's probably got it open to the middle section.
Yeah.
So he just like flips back. What's this one? He's just starting to like point.
Points at the words. What's this one?
What's this one?
What's this one?
What's that one?
Well, so
What's
this
that
story
dot
starts.
doing there?
That's the end of a sentence.
What's a sentence?
A sentence is a collection of words that conveys a thought. Like what I just said.
What does convey?
No, I don't think it would go that far. It's like, what's a sentence? I don't get it. Nobody says anything about sentences when they're talking.
Actually, no. He'd be like, the end of a sentence. You mean like when you die or get set free from jail? Right. That's what he's gonna know a sentence is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that would, not quite. But I could see where you're going there. Kind of, yes. The period is like when the axe ends the thought.
There's a whole
I'm
lot.
laughing. Enu's laughing in the background.
There's a whole lot of axes on this piece of paper.
Exciting,
Master
right?
Kodrog.
Oh no, there's no master. Well, yet. But yeah, these are so he'll start pointing out all the periods. Like, yes, these are axes ending the thoughts, and then he'll point to the commas, and these are dramatic pauses where you let it sink in
Sinking's
before
bad.
continuing.
You stop, you think, and you keep going. What are you supposed to think about?
Well, I don't.
Enu will slap you on the back. You're the best damn teacher ever. This lad's gonna learn everything. I'm about to go tell Cookie Alex is out here learning about periods and axes. This is going to be grand. He wanders into the kitchen and begins yelling at Cookie.
I'm doing my best.
Indeed.
So,
We can move forward.
we can move forward.
Now we know the seeds are set for strange encounters later on, where some guy walks up with a book and like,
What's this word?
What's this word? Why is it like this?
Why did they kill the sentence here?
I prefer picture books. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
It is known, yes. Pictures are far better than words. Much easier. That is why,
Maps are pictures.
and Nibbly only speaks in pictures, so, and it makes it much easier.
Maps are pictures.
Maps are pictures.
We heard you the first time. It's good.
But the problem with pictures is it's somebody else's interpretation of the 1,000 words.
That's
Man, he's just staring at you
Yeah,
like
right?
you said some crazy alien shit. I don't understand Dwarvish that well.
Let's see. Since we have...
Well,
Yeah, considering how the time and everything, I mean, we've already burnt up a lot of time. I don't see the reason why we can't kind of like mingle off for a moment or two and then head into our break. So, while we're waiting for Thomas to return, does Kodrog want to do anything else other than educate
Alexei.
on
Alexei.
on writing and reading?
Well, it's just reading. They haven't even got to the writing part. He didn't know that was part of it.
It's just the reading part. Not. Excuse me. Particularly, this grog is delicious. Yeah, is Cookie in charge of that too?
Yes.
No, I don't think that Kodrog has anything else particular, especially if Alexei is going to continue asking questions on how to interpret letters.
Yes.
He will ask you
Yeah.
questions like, "Is this dwarven? Is this human? You know, whose writing is this?" I mean, because he probably knows it's different languages, so he wants to know what you're showing him about. I assume the book is written in Dwarven.
Yeah, it's a classic dwarven tale about the brewmaster's wife.
Oh, other people in the room will definitely giggle over that one.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah. See, I don't want to spoil it, but she has some special ingredients that she adds to the ale. It's romance.
The guy will nod. He's not an idiot. He knows what sex is, but he's weird and confused about a book that talks about, this subject. So I mean, for him, and this is new, an idea, a book of reading for the purpose of being entertained. So
I knew a brewmaster's wife once, or twice.
Oh my gosh.
he will ask you, how many languages can you read? He's just like plugging you for information.
Oh, out of character. Reading and writing, two separate things. I mean, like reading and speaking are two separate things, right?
Yes. Yes.
For your mechanics wise?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't actually. So my intelligence is 18.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily read and speak 3 languages, right?
Yeah,
Or
you get your native tongue for being able to speak and read for free, and then you go through picking up the languages that you speak and which ones that you can read and write. So reading and writing is one part of it, speaking is another part, and you have to devote language points to both of those.
Okay. And does my intelligence modifier grant me any free points that I can
Whatever it is,
allocate?
point-wise, that's how many free of those it gives you.
Oh,
You
okay,
get,
excellent.
+3, you said?
Plus 4, so...
Yeah, you've got 4 possible like languages and or speaking and or writing and some mix thereof.
Excellent. Well, I can read and write in Dwarven. Speak human dialect here.
Yeah.
I can read and write Tekiao, and I can speak the Keshan tongue.
He'll give a nod to that. But it took you a while to learn all these.
I can say that I am still a student in all of them.
He would stare at you kind of strangely, like, so you're still learning now.
Oh, yes. I mean, except for Tekiao, the language never changes.
That sounds a lot easier. Maybe I should learn that.
It's so in Tekiao, I'm gonna say it's a really difficult language to learn to speak when you have the wrong mouth parts.
He just stares at you, and the rest of the galley will definitely become quiet. There's a snicker from across the room. I didn't get but half of that, because there are no Tekiaos on the ship. I don't think there is. No, that's one of the races that have yet to become a crew member on the Amber Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but then in the common speech, I'll say, but let's stick with this for now.
He'll smile to that. So we're gonna note that you are going to be helping this crew member learn to read and write in different languages. So we're gonna note that, because that's like an experience gain for you too.
Yeah, sorry, Thomas. I took over your bit while you were gone.
And so, as we move forward, we want to find out from both Jon and Paige if there's anything like character building wise that you felt that your characters could do or find to do. We're just tossing out this whole read and write thing to kind of see if, to interaction with the crew, because you guys are having interactions with the crew. So we want to kind of give you guys a chance to delve into your character a little bit. If you've got nothing, then we can segue on into the next piece, which is totally cool too.
I got nothing.
Okay. Paige? Paige, you're muted, by the way.
God damn it.
I noticed the little icon.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have one thing, but it's not that important. And that's getting Thomas and Captain Harris a little bit closer and having Thomas ask him out on a date.
Oh my.
Which is going to be very hard because they're on a ship.
I mean, maybe the captain hasn't had his second meal yet.
He's also very occupied with a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's another thing that I think I would have to pawn Princess Violet off to Kodrog or something. And be like, hey, babysit while I swoon over the captain. But even then, Thomas is too kind of embarrassed to even admit that. So
Hey, I need... The captain says you are supposed to take over...
even though if I say something like that, Kodrog's gonna be like, just don't take too long. You'll know.
You're gonna read to him from your book.
You could always ask Larry for help.
No! That's a horrible idea.
Yeah, if you ask me to babysit, by the end of it, the princess is going to be throwing daggers.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
She might like it.
Teaching her how far to hurl throw with your throwing with the handle of the blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next romance novel. A wizard lusting for a captain.
Mm-hmm. You could.
Okay. I don't see anything right now. The princess basically will... So we're going to say that, yeah, you've maybe made an attempt to kind of get the captain's attention, see when there's free time. He is not without that child around.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's been moments where they've met on deck or something and talked about whatever, but that's about it. And then Princess Violet's like, oh, what's this?
Oh, yeah. One of the things she has done that the captain has forbade her from asking more than once was asking you to do a magic trick for her. Proclaiming that her wizard casts spells when she asks, and so that
Her
maybe
wizard.
you can entertain her with some magic casting, which the captain immediately points out that Thomas is a crew member of the ship, and Thomas's magic guides and aids the ship alone and is not for entertainment. So he'll save you that embarrassment.
Can we just have that confrontation, please? Because I just imagine Thomas having that moment where he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like totally not like, "Oh yes, my princess." No, it's totally just going to be, "I'm sorry, what?" Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
but chili.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. So
Yeah, we'll do this and then we're gonna break.
sounds good. We're gonna do this, then we're gonna take our break. All right. So
I could just stay on air and entertain since I took my break of getting food. Which I apologize, people at home and people that I party chat with. But chili. I needed food in my stomach. So
it's the morning shift. The bop is dancing across the deck in its rhythmic pattern, dunking into the water to just clean the ash and dust off of it. There's a broom partially sweeping, and then there is a brush polishing some of the wood that and providing necessary protective coating on the grindstones in which your feet connect. As you're watching the whole endeavor, making sure that nothing disturbs it, and nobody else is up on deck with you at this point in time. It's just you, and about at least 200 feet around you of there's nobody. There's up on the far end somebody watching the main mast, the foremast. And you hear the sound of the princess's voice carrying across the air, looking past your observance of the deck cleaning and watching the ropes being tied off, lines being tied off.
Yeah.
You see the princess clicking off of her little boots, floating through the air and then landing gracefully back down on a collection of grindstones, and walking in a generally decent pace behind her is the captain as she's making a walk about the ship. They come down the forecastle, down the steps, and she gets to the edge and she's like, I'm gonna do it, and he's like, please don't, milady, it's rather large. And she jumps from the steps of the forecastle, launching herself across the section of deck and slowly drifting back down to it, which this is dangerous in itself, although there's really not danger involved. Something bad could happen. And the princess defies his orders and does it anyways, leaping from the forecastle down to the deck and clicking to the grindstones, which, when her feet slams into it, he immediately leaps down to catch up to her because he's got the strength and agility to do so. And he does a very graceful landing onto the deck next to her. It doesn't take her long to recover before she takes off and starts hauling butt up along the little pathways. And then she sees you and gets excited and begins moving towards you.
I imagine hearing it, Thomas is going to look over and be like, yeah, okay. And he'll just kind of be watching Jason. And as they walk up, Thomas goes, oh, Captain Jason. And then he looks down to Princess Violet and goes, Princess Violet? Like, he really doesn't want her to be there.
Master Thomas!
Just Thomas.
Master Thomas, I would like you to do a magic trick, please. I said please.
I'm sorry. What?
I said please. Do a magic trick.
My lady, I am not that type of magician. In fact, I don't consider myself as a magician.
The captain is like, oh my, is standing
Yeah, he's
behind
just
him,
like-
red face, like, oh my god, are you fucking serious right now? But you can't say that to royalty. So
Yep.
we're just, yeah, and we don't got a whipping boy here, so. Your Highness, that's Master Thomas is no stage magician. But he's a wizard, and wizards do magic tricks. Your Highness, he is my wizard. He is not a toy for you to play with. I didn't say it was a toy, I just want to see some magic. No. Your Highness, I must insist that Master Thomas has a job to do on the ship. He is a very important functioning member of this crew, and he is currently busy with tidying the ship. If you would like to watch his magic at work, you're more than welcome to do so. She looks over at, like, the brooms and stuff they're going through all by themselves. She looks at them. She, like, her shoulders slump. That's boring.
Well, my lady, actually, it's quite interesting. You see, it takes a great deal of intelligence and concentration to cast these things. And he'll cast, like, Mage Hand to tie up a line. And he goes, see, normally people would have to climb up there and do this, but I can just snap my fingers and boom, done. I would also like to point out that as Captain Harris says he is my wizard, Thomas just goes flush red.
and then on deck, when you tie that line, Larry looks up and says, "Wizard's taking our jobs."
Yeah.
Well,
my wizard can do bigger things.
like what, my lady?
Well, my wizard could tie this whole ship into a knot.
Your wizard.
Yes, my wizard.
Who is your wizard, my lady?
Which we don't actually know. So let's turn to our audience
Yeah.
and get the name of Princess. It's, by the way, it's not actually Princess Violet's wizard. It is the wizard that resides at the Castle Kadaph.
Yes, we need. And
So it's like the
he's
court
a
wizard.
he's a royal wizard,
Yeah.
and
He is Marseillan.
He is Marseillan. He probably hates doing magic tricks just as much as every other mage, but he is required to do so at the king's pleasure.
But we need a name
Yeah.
for him.
Yes,
So
maybe something Frenchy.
it's definitely French.
Ooh.
Name for French.
Yeah, throw some silent cues in there.
Right? And an S
Is-
on the end that's silent.
Oh, jeez. Is Marseillan supposed to be like French? Because I gave
It is.
Thomas the most generic name ever.
Thomas is perfectly fine for a French name.
Pathfinder.
Oh
Wow.
man, Reginald Velouche.
Ah,
That does sound like a very douchey name.
yeah.
I like it.
My wizard's
Velouche.
Reginald Velouche. And Thomas is like, whoa! like,
We're gonna go with Master Reginald Velouche.
Yes.
I like that.
Write that down.
You have.
I have it.
Okay.
You now have it.
I now have.
My wizard is Master Reginald Velouche of Marseille.
well,
The Velouche family is known for being thaumaturgists as well as conjurers and experts on the plains. You took classes with a Velouche. You took classes from a Velouche, not with a Velouche. You probably were with the
Yeah.
Velouche,
Thomas does know planes very well, so he would probably be like, oh, I actually know that name when it's heard, or when she speaks it. And Thomas, I don't think Thomas very much likes court wizards. He very, I would imagine that his father at one point was like, you could be a court wizard, and Thomas was like, no, I don't want to be some king's puppet. And then they just went into this whole argument.
Yeah, about like how much money court wizards make, and you should be
Yeah.
and you should be proud to be a court wizard. God damn it!
Yeah, exactly.
You're going
you
to
have
school.
blood running through you that can cast magic, and you squander it and like that shit.
You're going
Yep.
to school, you're getting a degree in wizardry, you should apply
No.
to be the best possible job out there, which is a court wizard. Why are you not going to be a court wizard? I think this is, it's kind of like nowadays
Yeah,
your parents are like,
exactly.
you should be a doctor.
Uh-huh.
Court wizard is just one step away from jester.
Exactly. That's exactly. He's like, how do you not see this? They make us juggle. I cast lightning bolt. I don't want to, like. But as she says, my court wizard, Reginald Belush. Thomas just gives this. He does this thing where he goes, "Well, I am Thomas Baron from Marseille." And he kind of gives her a big grin, and he goes, "Milady."
And you see her like going from like the pouty like I want it.
Yeah.
She like then she like kind of gets a sad face like. Can she just do one spell, please, Master Thomas?
Oh, is she doing puppy eyes?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to roll to resist?
It's a will
puppy
save
eyes?
versus awe. Her charisma bonus is a +3. She's a child, which gives her a natural +2, making the DC save for this a 15.
Shit. Okay. Hold on. I think I have like a +1 on my will.
God, I hope not.
I can't find it. Oh, 7. It's +7. Herp. 12.
Wow.
I got a 5, so...
You think that, well, if it's just one spell, maybe I could do something fancy with prestidigitation.
Yeah,
And get her out of my face.
I was thinking something small. I was thinking like conjuring plants, but I don't even have that. I'm not a druid.
Prestidigitation can make small amounts of plants appear and grow like grass and flowers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll stick around for at least an hour before they dissipate, and there's nothing you can do to undo them once they're here for that hour.
Cool. I think I'm gonna do that. Thomas will just sigh, and he'll go, "Okay, one spell," and he kneels down to her height, because I know she's 12, but she sounds tiny. So, he kneels down to her height, and he says a draconic word, and it's prestidigitation,
Mm-hmm.
and he conjures a floral crown, and he puts it on her head, and he goes, "There you go, my lady."
Thank you, Master Thomas. Look, I have a crown.
And she turns to the captain and is like,
Look, Master Thomas made me a flower crown. I am the Queen of Flowers.
You're only the queen of flowers for about an hour. That rhymed. Prestidigitation, the spell, doesn't last very long. So, excuse my Marseille accent. I still don't understand how to say that word.
I love that. That's good. I like that. That works.
Oh, thank you, Master Thomas.
and then she leaps off, and then like to grab one of the like the larger ropes that are attached to the rigging, not the line, the main rope,
Mm-hmm.
and then the swings around it, and then clicks her heels back onto the grindstone, and you're like,
Let's go find the riggers, Captain.
and so the Captain Harris looks at you, Thomas. Thank you, I appreciate it, but she will not be
course.
asking you to do that any longer.
I don't mind making floral crowns, Jason.
He used his first name. That's good. I like it.
Thomas is gonna make a little motion with his hands and make another, and he's gonna walk over to the captain and be like, and place it on his head, and he'll be like, "Captain Jason," and he walks away. He's like, "I should be going back to my duties."
And so she sees that, and like, in the background, you're like,
Oh, Captain Jason, you're the King of Flowers. Yay!
and so, he looks at you as you like run off, and he's got like trying to keep
it together.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, Your Highness. I am. As he's walking towards her and away from you, I am the King of Flowers. Let's go find the riggers.
Thomas chuckles. He kind of does this where he has to cover his mouth because he goes, "Yes, I am the King of Flowers." like I did that. Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
God damn
Excellent.
Excellent. All right.
we will take...
We're going to take our break now, and we will be back in about 10-ish minutes to
Yes.
finish up our show. Thank you so much for
yeah.
putting up with our earlier problems, and we look to come
shall
back
return